Alright guys, so roughly 3 months ago I made an alternative fan-made story about Broly on this channel, which involved Lord Beerus and the Grand Priest. And the immense amount of support you guys showed in that video was absolutely amazing. You guys loved that story, so thank you guys all so much for that. I truly appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all so very much. And so guys, with that, part 2 of this story was being requested heavily, so I had to make part 2. And just like part 1, part 2 also received nothing but love and support. And that is thanks to every single one of you guys. Without you guys, this would never be possible. Thank you guys all so much. And so after that, I was heavily being requested to make part 3. And guys, today is the day. This is part 3 of that story. Anyways guys, before I begin part 3, at first I'll play part 1 and part 2 for those that haven't seen it yet. And then part 3 will begin immediately after part 1 and part 2 are finished. With that out of the way guys, here we go. This is part 3 of Broly's alternate story, where everything changes. So in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, Lord Beerus was not involved. We did not see him much in that film. But guys, in this story, Lord Beerus noticed something very interesting, and he gets involved in the battle. And him getting involved changes everything. So first of all, just like in the original timeline, how Goku and Vegeta went up against Broly, the same thing happens in this timeline, 56. And guys, Broly is just too powerful for Goku and Vegeta to handle, which forces them to fuse into Gogeta. And when Gogeta comes back on the battlefield, now he takes on Broly. And now Broly and Gogeta are evenly matched in power and speed. And after a while of fighting, Gogeta, using Super Saiyan Blue, gets the upper hand on Broly. And even though now Broly was losing, but there was still something strange going on. And there was sudden strange flashes of power coming from Broly. And it was appearing and disappearing very quickly. And Whis was the only one who noticed this from Broly. As the battle was still happening, after some time Gogeta damages Broly badly, and now Broly is on the ground. Chilla and Lemmo try their best to save Broly with the Dragon Balls by taking him back to planet Bampa, but they couldn't get to the Dragon Balls in time. At last Gogeta launches a massive blast directly at Broly, and with that, Broly is no more. Gogeta has taken the life of Broly. But suddenly someone says that's not its true limit. Not even close. Whis, it's time. Do it now. And the one who just said that was Lord Beerus. He was with Whis all this time, watching this battle. And Whis says, yes my lord. And with that guys, everything goes back in reverse. Whis now has turned back time at the order of Lord Beerus. And so now with that, Broly is back. Everything is back to how it was just a few minutes ago. So what Whis did was he turned back time to a point where Broly was damaged on the ground on his knees. And now just like before, Gogeta was preparing a massive energy blast to finish off Broly. And just as Gogeta launched the energy blast, Beerus arrived right in front of Broly. And without any problems whatsoever, Beerus was easily able to destroy the blast and save Broly. And now Gogeta in confusion, he says, why? What's going on here? And Beerus, without saying anything, he looked at Gogeta and just smiled. As Broly is still on the ground, Lord Beerus is standing right in front of him. As he's looking at Broly, Lord Beerus says, you couldn't save them. And after he says that, Broly slowly looks up at Lord Beerus. And now both Goku and Vegeta in confusion, they ask Whis, what is Lord Beerus talking about? What's going on here? But Whis does not say a single word. He just has a smile on his face. Then once again, Lord Beerus says to Broly, you gave up on them. They sacrificed their lives for you. It's all your fault that they're gone. Then Broly slowly gets up. And then both Goku and Vegeta can feel a strange rise of power. And it's coming from Broly. Then the ground starts shaking. And now out of absolute nowhere, as Broly is looking at Lord Beerus, with insane speed he disappears and quickly reappears right behind of Lord Beerus, and he throws a massive, powerful punch. But Lord Beerus, with a very sadistic smile on his face, he was able to block it. After that, the fight fully begins, and Goku and Vegeta can't believe what they're seeing. Broly is moving at insane speeds, and now his power is much greater than before. And after the battle goes on for a while, Broly is starting to lose this sudden, strange rise of power, but he's still able to land some hits on Lord Beerus. But these attacks are only scratching Beerus, it's not damaging him whatsoever. and the attacks that Beerus is landing on Broly, those are damaging him badly. Then Broly falls on the ground, and with that Lord Beerus suddenly starts laughing, and he walks up to Broly, and he says, "Oh, it looks like you need their power again, huh? A power that you couldn't hold on to. They're gone because of you." And after Lord Beerus says that, there's tears on Broly's eyes. Then Goku and Vegeta notice a serious look on Whis' face. Then Whis calls out, "Lord Beerus," and from far away, he looks at Whis, and Whis says, "Stop this, that's enough." And just as Whis says that, as Broly has tears in his eyes, a drop of tear starts falling towards the ground. And just when his tears hits the ground, there's a massive flash of light. And with that, Broly completely disappears from the front of Beerus. Then Lord Beerus says, "What? He's gone." And now Lord Beerus cannot feel Broly's presence anymore. It's like he's not even there anymore. And Whis now has a shock on his face. After that, all of a sudden, Broly's energy appears once again. But Broly is nowhere to be seen. But now it doesn't feel like regular energy anymore. It now has a godly, divine feeling to it. Then in a flash of light, the sky goes dark, and there is lightning everywhere. With that also, the entire planet Earth is shaking. Now all of a sudden, there is a voice coming from all around the Earth, and that is Broly. And he says, "Promise, a broken promise." Now after hearing this, Lord Beerus has confusion on his face. Then he says, "What promise? Whis, what is the meaning of all this?" And then right as he says that, Whis' eyes suddenly looks in all directions. It's like he's tracking something. Then Broly appears right in front of Lord Beerus and punches him directly in the stomach. After that punch, Goku, Vegeta, and Lord Beerus are in absolute shock because no one, including Beerus, saw that attack coming from Broly. Whis was the only one who was able to track it. As Broly still has his hand on the stomach of Beerus, Broly then pulls away his hand from Beerus' stomach. And right after that, there is a massive shockwave, which is so powerful that it pushes away Lord Beerus across Earth, hundreds of miles away. Broly then slowly turns around, and now Lord Beerus in anger flies right in front of him. And Whis with a shock on his face, he says he exactly knew which direction Lord Beerus was coming from. And as Whis is looking at his staff with a serious face, he yells out, "Lord Beerus, you have to end this now." He's slowly accessing the memories and the power from his previous life. And now Lord Beerus says, "What else really happened in his past that I don't know about?" And then Whis says, "The power that you're facing right now from Broly, it is not a power of a mortal being. This power was given to him in his previous life after he made a promise to something that he didn't know about, which was the ultimate sacrifice. He lost everything and everyone that he cared for. Without realizing, he unknowingly traded the lives of his loved ones for power in his previous life." And now part 2 begins. So after Whis explained to Goku and Vegeta about what happened to Broly in his previous life, they all became shocked. Goku, after seeing and hearing everything, he cannot believe his own eyes. He's speechless. And then Goku asks Whis, "But how? How is this possible? How does he have so much power? What exactly happened to him? And how does Lord Beerus know about him? How does he know about his previous life?" And then Whis says, "Goku, as you know, before you first met Lord Beerus, he was sleeping. And while he was sleeping, he had a dream. And in his dream, he saw a Super Saiyan God. And with that, he also felt the power of this being as well. And as you know, just before you transform into the Super Saiyan God, we summoned the dragon Shinron. And he told us about this Super Saiyan God from the past and what happened to him. And after your fight with Lord Beerus was finished, as we were going home, he asked me who this being was. He wanted to know what exactly happened to him in the past. So I showed Lord Beerus everything that I had access to. And with that, I showed him the past of the Super Saiyan God and who he was. And just like how Lord Beerus was feeling the godly power of this being in his dream, he felt the same thing, the same power here as well when you and Vegeta were fighting Broly. That's why he became interested. And he knew what this exactly was and who this being truly was. And then guys, Vegeta says, "So who was he? What exactly happened to him?" And then Whis says, "Here, I can show you both the past as well." And after that, Whis grabs onto his staff and he taps it on the ground 2 times. And then he shows Goku and Vegeta the past of the Super Saiyan God and who he was. And so with that right now, both Goku and Vegeta can see a planet, and Whis says, Goku, Vegeta, this is the past of your home planet, Vegeta. And now as Goku and Vegeta are seeing everything, they're in shock, because this planet Vegeta is very hostile. There's nothing but destruction and bodies on the ground. Everywhere they look is some destructions. Along with that, there's bodies, dead bodies. See guys, in this time of planet Vegeta, the Saiyans were nothing but evil. Almost everyone was trying to gain power over the other. Almost all of them were bloodthirsty monsters. But there was also a small group of pure-hearted Saiyans on planet Vegeta, and after seeing what the evil Saiyans were doing, they couldn't take it anymore. Because every single day, thousands of innocent lives were taken. Every day someone was dying. And right now as Goku, Vegeta, and Whis are looking around planet Vegeta, they see a massive flash of light coming from a very far distance. And guys, with that, they go to the exact same location. And now what they see is a small group of Saiyans battling other Saiyans. And suddenly Whis says, Goku, Vegeta, that's him. That is Yamoshi, the one who you both are looking for. This is Broly in his previous life. And guys, that is indeed Yamoshi, the one that Lord Beerus saw in his dream. And also once again, Goku and Vegeta can feel the same power that they felt when Broly was unleashing his power against Lord Beerus. Not too much, just a little bit. And at this time, Yamoshi was the strongest among all the pure-hearted Saiyans. He was their leader. So as Yamoshi is fighting against the evil Saiyans, his energy is slowly going down. And that is because the evil Saiyans are attacking Yamoshi in a group together. And after a while, Yamoshi suddenly falls to the ground and is very battle damaged. He is having a near-death experience. And as the evil Saiyans are about to land the final blow on Yamoshi to end his life, suddenly 3 of Yamoshi's friends come and save him. Then there is also a female Saiyan rushing towards where Yamoshi is, and with her is a child, just about the age that Goten is right now, and that is Yamoshi's wife and his child. And as Yamoshi is looking up at his wife and his child, he has a shock on his face, and then he says, no, where is... And now Goku, Vegeta, and Whis, they can see that behind Yamoshi's wife and his child, there is an evil Saiyan, and the evil Saiyan has somebody in his hands, and that is Yamoshi's other son. So what happened here was, as Yamoshi's wife and his child are running towards Yamoshi, one of the evil Saiyans grabbed onto his other son. And guys, with that right now, Yamoshi's other son is in the grasp of the evil Saiyan. And as the evil Saiyan is holding on to his son by the throat, his son is crying. And with that right now, Yamoshi in sadness, he says, please let him go. And the evil Saiyan just laughs in a very sadistic way, and he tells Yamoshi, don't worry, I'll let go, I'll stop when he stops breathing. And guys, right now the 3 other Saiyans who are fighting against the evil Saiyans, they try to save Yamoshi's son, but the evil Saiyan says, you take one more step and it's done, it's over. So immediately the 3 other good Saiyans, they stop where they are, and they go to the aid of Yamoshi and his wife and his son. And guys, suddenly one of the evil Saiyans starts laughing in a very sadistic way, and then there's a big flash of light, and that is a big energy blast hitting Yamoshi's son. And with that, the evil Saiyans kill Yamoshi's youngest son. And now Yamoshi and his wife and his other child have nothing but tears in their eyes. All they feel is pain. And now out of nowhere, Whis says, Goku, Vegeta, this is it. Now watch. And now as the 3 other Saiyans are about to attack the evil Saiyans, Yamoshi says, no, you guys can't, it's too many of them. Then guys, one of the other Saiyans says, Yamoshi, but you can. So now what they do is they channel all their power into Yamoshi. Not just the 3 Saiyans, but also his wife and his young child. And as they were giving their power to Yamoshi, suddenly Yamoshi's wife's stomach started glowing. And that is because guys, at that time, she was pregnant with Yamoshi's 3rd child. And just like how Goku was becoming a Super Saiyan God, Yamoshi also started glowing as well. And guys, with that, a Super Saiyan God was finally born. And as Super Saiyan God, Yamoshi turns around, his wife and his son and the 3 other Saiyans are not there anymore. They're on the ground, lifeless. Because guys, they gave all their power to Yamoshi. They kept no energy for themselves. They gave all they had to Yamoshi. And for that reason, they could not survive. They sacrificed themselves for Yamoshi to make the Super Saiyan God. And guys, right now, Super Saiyan God Yamoshi feels nothing but pain and anger. He has lost everything, the ones that he loves and cares for. They're all gone. Now Super Saiyan God Yamoshi has immense amounts of power, and guys, easily he defeats all the evil Saiyans, he takes them down. But the Super Saiyan God power was just too much for Yamoshi to handle. His body could not take it. And guys, with that, there was a huge flash of light, and Yamoshi was gone. And now Goku and Vegeta have seen everything that happened with Yamoshi, the first ever Super Saiyan God. And as Whis was done showing Goku and Vegeta the past, suddenly Goku notices a concerned look on Whis' face, and Goku says, "Whis, what's wrong?" And then after staying quiet for a few seconds, Whis says, "I didn't see this before. This was never here." And then Vegeta says, "Whis, what do you mean? You've seen all this before." And then Whis says, "No, Vegeta. Not this. I did not have access to these events before." And guys, now the reason why Whis is so shocked, that is because he's sensing a very familiar power. And the only other time he ever felt this power before was when the Grand Priest was training him. And this power was coming from the Grand Priest. He was right there where Yamoshi was. The Grand Priest was here since the beginning, and he has been watching everything. Since the moment Yamoshi was taking on the evil Saiyans, he has been watching every second of the battle. So right after the evil Saiyans take the life of Yamoshi's youngest son, and as Yamoshi's three other friends are about to attack the evil Saiyans, at that very moment, the Grand Priest stops time. Everything around them just freezes. And now the Grand Priest appears right in front of Yamoshi, and the only person that is able to see and talk to the Grand Priest is none other than Yamoshi. And the Grand Priest says, "Stop them, they'll die." And now Yamoshi says, "Who are you and what did you do?" Because Yamoshi sees that the sky around them and everybody around him is frozen in time. He's the only one that is able to move, along with the Grand Priest. And this is the work of the Grand Priest. He stopped time for Yamoshi. And as Yamoshi is still in shock, the Grand Priest says, "If you can't beat them, they'll die. Everything that you ever cared for, everyone that you loved, they'll all lose their life, and you will never see them ever again." And as Yamoshi has tears in his eyes, he says, "No, I can't beat them. They're too powerful." And then the Grand Priest says, "Don't worry, I can help you." And in absolute shock, Yamoshi says, "What? How?" And after that, the Grand Priest says, "But you have to promise me something. We have to make a deal." And Yamoshi, in desperation, without even thinking anything, he agrees to the Grand Priest. And with tears in his eyes, he says, "I'll do whatever you want me to do. Please help me." And after Yamoshi says that, the Grand Priest extends his right hand forward. And Yamoshi says, "What will you do? Tell me." And the Grand Priest says, "If I tell you, it may not happen, but you'll find out soon." And after that, the Grand Priest freezes Yamoshi, and he appears in front of Yamoshi's three friends, his wife and his child. And they're shocked just as Yamoshi was. And then the Grand Priest tells Yamoshi's friends and his wife that Yamoshi will die, and they'll die as well, and they'll never see each other ever again. And then Yamoshi's wife says, "No, this can't be." And then the Grand Priest says, "But if you do as I say, you all will live, and you guys all will see each other again one day." And then Yamoshi's friend closes his eyes, and he says, "Tell us what we have to do." And after that, the Grand Priest says, "You all have to give your energy to Yamoshi. Everything that you all have, give it to him." And now suddenly the Grand Priest just disappears, and time starts again. But Yamoshi and his wife and his friends do not tell each other what just happened. They keep it to themselves. And since the Grand Priest told Yamoshi that his friends will die if they attack the evil Saiyans, he stops them. And also since the Grand Priest told Yamoshi's friends and his wife that they all must give their energy to Yamoshi or else he will die. And as they all have tears in their eyes, at that very moment they all give their energy to Yamoshi. They give all of it, even their own life energy. And with that, they all sacrifice themselves for Yamoshi. And after Yamoshi saw them on the ground, completely lifeless, as he was crying, he felt nothing but pain and anger. And suddenly the Grand Priest appears right behind Yamoshi. And Yamoshi says, "What did you do?" And then the Grand Priest says, "I'll tell you, but first go finish them. This power that you have right now, it will not last long. it will go away. Don't let their sacrifice go to waste. Use their power. Any emotion in anger and pain, he easily defeats the evil Saiyans. He overpowers them. And after that, he goes right in front of the Grand Priest and he says, "Tell me, what did you do?" And right after he says that, there was a huge explosion. And the explosion was Yamoshi. This power was just too much for him to handle. His body couldn't take it, and all this energy was forcefully leaving Yamoshi's body, and it was breaking down his body slowly and slowly. And the Grand Priest says, "If I told you before what would happen, you would have never done this. But they all gave their life, they sacrificed themselves for you." And then the Grand Priest also says, "This is the end of this lifetime for you. And also this was the end of their lifetime as well." And then Yamoshi says, "What do you mean?" And then the Grand Priest says, "You all will be reincarnated. You all will be reborn. But it is your job to find them. Destiny and fate will connect you all once again. You all will see each other again." And as Yamoshi is slowly fading away, with tears in his eyes, he smiles and he says, "No matter how, no matter where you all are, no matter how many lifetimes it takes me, till my last breath with my life, I promise, I'll find you all." And guys, now part 3 begins. So all this time, as Whis was showing the past to Goku and Vegeta, Beerus was still fighting Broly, and now they're both evenly matched in power. As Goku, Vegeta, and Whis are watching the battle from a distance, Goku says, "Whis, why were you not able to see this before when you first showed the past to Lord Beerus?" And then Whis says, "Goku, I didn't see this before because this didn't happen in our timeline." And Goku in confusion says, "Whis, what do you mean?" And then Whis says, "What I'm trying to say is this didn't happen in our current timeline. It happened in a different timeline, in a different reality. When I first showed the past to Lord Beerus, everything was normal. All we saw was Yamoshi's friends, his wife, and his child giving up their life energy to Yamoshi to create a Super Saiyan God. I didn't see the Grand Priest there until now. Maybe the reason why I was able to see it is because of Lord Beerus awakening Broly's memories when he was talking about the past. When Lord Beerus said you gave up on them, they sacrificed their lives for you. Just maybe the awakening of Broly's past memories and the sudden rise of his strange power somehow interfered with the flow of timelines and all realities. But there is still something else that I don't understand, and that is, why did the Grand Priest exactly save and help Yamoshi? And then guys, Lord Beerus telepathically asks Whis, "What? How is this possible? Why is our Broly in our timeline experiencing the power and the memories of another Broly from a different timeline?" And then Whis says, "My lord, the reason why our Broly is experiencing the power and the memories of a Broly from a different timeline is because this Broly from our timeline is now the most dominant, the most powerful version of Broly that there is in all the timelines and realities. And so our Broly in our timeline was given the power and abilities of the previous Broly." And then Lord Beerus replies back in confusion and he says, "What? A change was made. When did this happen?" And then Whis says, "I'm not fully sure, my lord. I'm still searching." And after that, Goku says, "A change? What is that? What does that mean?" And Whis replies back, "Goku, among the gods and angels, a change is known as interference with an event by a high-level deity, and this is a very rare thing, and the change that is made serves a much bigger purpose." And then Vegeta says, "What exactly happens when a change like this is made?" And then Whis says, "Vegeta, when a change of this magnitude is made, it not only heavily affects the original timeline in which the change was made in, but it also heavily affects all the other timelines and realities that there ever will be, the past, present, and the future. And once again, something like this only happens when a high-level deity gets involved." And then Goku says, "Who made this change?" Then Vegeta also says, "Yes, Whis, who's the being that can make a change like this?" Then Whis says, "Goku, Vegeta, the only being that can make a change like this is the Grand Priest, and it can only be authorized by the Omni King. So he must have ordered the Grand Priest to make this change, and that also means something horrible must have happened to the previous version of Broly, who was Yamoshi, who for some reason the Grand Priest got involved with. And now that our Broly is the most powerful version of Broly, all the power, abilities, and the memories were transferred to our Broly. He's now experiencing the life of every version of himself from every timeline and realities. And then Goku says, but why? What's the reason behind this? And then Vegeta says, Whis, you said when a change is made, it serves a much bigger purpose. So what's the purpose of this? And then as Whis is looking at Broly, he says, I don't know, but I can feel something from Broly, but I'm not fully sure just yet. As Beerus is still fighting Broly, they're both evenly matched with each other. Broly is not slowing down at all. He's matching every punch, every attack that Beerus is throwing at him with heavy intensity and speed. But there's still something very strange going on. The techniques and the movements that Broly is making is extremely precise. Every move that he's making, he has great knowledge of it. And lastly, he precisely knew the movements that Lord Beerus was going to make before Beerus even made a single move. Broly exactly knew what Lord Beerus was going to do before he did it. And after a while, Whis noticed it. And suddenly Beerus says, Whis, what is the meaning of all this? This shouldn't be happening. And then Whis suddenly says, those movements. I know those movements. And then Vegeta says, huh? But right after that, out of nowhere, Broly slows down. His punches and energy blasts are getting weaker every minute. And suddenly Broly stops and he stands still and closes his eyes. And now his energy is going down rapidly. And now as Beerus is seeing and feeling all this, he laughs. And he says, you're done. You forced out all of your power at once. And now you have nothing left to give. It's all over, huh? And now for some reason there's a concerned look on Whis' face, and he quietly says, no, Lord Beerus, something is not right here. And after that, Beerus walks up to Broly, and as he's face to face with Broly, then he raises up his right hand and prepares the destruction technique Hakai to finish off Broly. And he says, you're nothing compared to me, a god. Now I'll show you what a god can really do. Then right as Beerus is about to launch his attack, Broly, as he's looking down, suddenly says, a god? You're no true god. You have to answer to someone. Broly then opens his eyes, then after a few seconds, there is a huge outburst of aura and just massive shockwaves of pure divine godly energy mixed with angelic energy coming out of Broly. And as Whis is looking into his staff, he's in complete shock. And he says, this energy. And then from far away in the battlefield, Beerus can see that Whis, for some reason right now, is bowing down his head. But it is not to him. Instead, it is for Broly. And now Beerus, Goku, Vegeta, they cannot believe what they're seeing. They're all extremely shocked. As Beerus is still confused, he says, Whis, why? What's the meaning behind this? And then Whis says, Lord Beerus, a change was not the only thing that took place. There is something else here. And then guys, Whis goes silent. And Goku says, what is it, Whis? What else happened? So as Whis is still in shock while looking at Broly, he says this energy and those movements from earlier are exactly like those of the Grand Priest, who is one of the Omni King's top 5 strongest fighters in the entire multiverse. And then Vegeta says, top 5 strongest in the entire multiverse? And then Whis says, yes, Vegeta, that's correct. And now all this pure divine godly energy mixed with the angel's energy that we're all feeling, and Broly's precise knowledge of every technique only means one thing, and that is in the other timeline where the Grand Priest made the change, where he got involved with Yamoshi and he saved him. In that timeline, after Yamoshi died, somehow he came back, and when he came back, for some reason the Grand Priest trained him, and then he was given divine godly powers, and with that he became one of the Omni King's top 5 strongest fighters in the entire multiverse. Right now our Broly has only tapped into half of Yamoshi's true divine powers, but this half power and knowledge is beyond everything. It surpasses all the gods and angels in existence, past, present, or the future. But right now Broly having this power is a bad sign. All this right here means one thing, and that is, as I said before, something truly horrible must have happened to Yamoshi, who was one of the Omni King's top 5 strongest fighters in the entire multiverse. Anyways, you guys, that is about it. That's all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this. Comment section down below. And guys, this is not the end of the story. I have a part 4 for you guys. So if you guys want to see that, give this video a huge thumbs up. And that's how I'll know if you guys want it or not. And if you guys are brand new to this channel, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this. Anyways, you guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. And have a blessed day, my friends.